lineup of about 15 speakers, which normally we have 10 to 15 speakers. Today we kept it the number a little low, allowing participation from everyone so that you can give your viewpoints and you can also ask questions from the speakers. As you know, today's topic is how to embed nutrition into plant-based foods. There are two ways of doing it. One is that you don't destruct it in the first place. So there is no value loss, no nutrition loss while doing it. But since we are already doing the processing, so some amount of nutrition loss is bound to happen, right? But how do we bring it back while making the plant-based meat, plant-based milk, and other products absolutely yummy, flavorful, sumptuous, tasty, wholesome, and nutritious? So this is supposed to be a technical topic where we talk about the technique of bringing it, but it looks like that we are talking about the health. Actually, we are not. We are talking about how to embed nutrition into the food so that the foods become healthy. As against, again, talking about that hemp and soybean has got all the 9 amino acids. Here today, the question is how to embed these products in such a way that we retain the maximum value, or if some value destruction has taken place, how do we bring it back? How do we make the products more clean label? And we ensure that the sourcing of these products is absolutely flawless and fantastic. How do we bring in some of the amazing Indianness into these products? Many Ayush products, Ayurvedic products have such great nutrition. Can we include that into our plant-based foods so that it becomes more like a superfood? As we know, there are some examples of that instead of having chemical binders, maybe we can use shea, or maybe we can use flax seeds, maybe we can use isabgol. Fine, isabgol doesn't have too much nutrition beyond the amazing fibers it has, or the soluble fibers it has. And how do we also utilize things like jackfruit, which is full of nutrition? So there are many things that we can do to our plant-based foods. So this is plant-based 2.0, where we are talking about not just the borrowed concept from Impossible and Beyond Burger from the US. We are going a step forward beyond that. And we are trying to look at our centuries old knowledge and our frugal knowledge, as well as the local conditions, as well as the local novel ingredients which can go into this. They say that anything which is processed and looks very dry, fried, it repels the customers. Sometimes not necessarily that product which looks good is actually healthy, and products which looks a little dry is unhealthy. It's not true. There are ways of getting the protein isolates or concentrates from things like soy protein and others by using technologies like membrane filtration, so that you don't bring any chemicals while you separate the proteins from the carbs, or from the fibers, or from the starch, or the other complex fibers which are there. So what we are basically trying to do, we are trying to find out various technological interventions so that we can have an amazing taste and texture and flavor. And yet, when the customer and the final consumer consumes it, not only he finds the product absolutely meaty, and we get over the tag that this industry offers over processed foods. These are early times. It's possible to use the amazing science to get over those issues. It is a different thing that we do not have the deep pockets, and that's why we usually get tagged. And other industries, even if they are making, over processed noodles, they don't get tagged because they have the muscle to mold the media in their favor. We do not have that advantage. So we have to get our house in order. We have to get it right. Whether it is sprouting our millets and doing amazing Indian innovation to the plant-based milk. We have OT, which did it. We have alt food, which did it. We have so many other such uh, products where even nourish you, where the power of millets was used to provide the amazing taste to plant-based milk. And then you also have uh, some emerging brands, like for example, Dancing Cow, who have done it in such a great way that they are saying, okay, I'm also there. I'm willing to get counted, and I'm also competing with the so-called biggies in the game. But actually, there are no so big players other than So Good or Tatu. Almost all of them are really bootstrapped startups. We want to enjoy the various kinds of enzymes. We want to enjoy various kinds of interventions so that the gut remains healthy and we do not kill the friendly microbiome over there, and to ensure that healthy gut leads to healthy body, healthy mind, no diabetes, no heart diseases, no lifestyle diseases, and no some 20 different kind of diseases, including cancer. So we want to take into advantage all the ingredients that amazing Indian cuisine offers and Indian sourcing offers, and we ensure that we are not uh, criticized the way some of the nutraceuticals get criticized. Oh, no. I would rather take my vitamins from mango and banana. I don't want to take my vitamins in the capsules because this is not the same thing. This is something subpar. So we don't want to get into that controversy. All we want to do is how do we retain and how do we add value to this. So we have a star speaker today from Toronto, Dr. Tushar Mehta. He is a sensation. So before I bring in and the amazing other star speakers, I request my team to introduce themselves. To start with Mehta, Narhari, Indra, and then in the last Aditi, who also has a prepared presentation. And then we'll get in Dr. Tushar Mehta.
So I think Mehta was facing some technical problem, so I can start.
Go ahead.
Hello, everyone. My name is Narhari Gupta, and I'm working as an innovation specialist at the association. So thank you all for joining today, and look forward to a great session. Thank you.
Hi everyone. Hope I'm audible. And my name is Indra, and I'm working at PBFIA as innovation specialist. This is a very interesting topic and something that everyone is starting to slowly focus towards. And I think it is high time that we learn from experts in the industry as to how we can keep improving our products. It's definitely not a one-time product, right? Everyone keeps iterating and keeps innovating. And I think with the consumers being more and more aware as to what they consume, it is more important for us to also be very conscious as to what we put inside our products. And I think this is going to be a very interesting webinar with all the speakers, and we'll learn from them. And like sir mentioned, you'll also have the opportunity to directly interact and ask your questions to them. So I think we'll have a great session today. And thank you everyone for joining, and welcome to the webinar.
Hello everyone, this is Aditi Sharma. I work at PBFIA as a senior manager, and like Sir mentioned that while we are setting the foundation for the industry, it is essential that we set it right. It is essential that we have these discussions so that we all put in our heads together. We understand uh, what one is implementing very well in their organization, which we can leverage so that we can grow together as an industry. And when we collaborate, that is when the maximum growth happens. So here is a short presentation where I'll just walk you through the session today. Let me know if you can see my screen.
Yes, it is visible.
Okay, great. Thanks, Nahari. So yes, today we are here for a masterclass on elevating the nutritional profile in plant-based foods. And here is the star-studded panel for today who will enlighten us with their thoughts, with their experiences, so that we all can learn. What is PBFIA? A lot of you might be new here. So we are an association. We are a CEO-led body. We have over 100 plus members as of now. And there are 4 main work streams that we have: innovation, supply chain, investment, and policy advocacy. This masterclass is a part of our innovation webinar series, which is usually headed by Indra. So we have done various masterclasses before with plant-based texture, getting that right, getting the flavors right. So we've had great experts from the industry, similar to what we are doing today, which is a part of our innovation work stream. We also represent, we are the founding members internationally of the International Plant-Based Foods Working Group, which has members from various countries, and we work together to take the plant-based industry forward across the globe. This is a list of over 100 members that we have as of now, with members keep getting added every day. Of course, all of you, we know, keep innovating on their side. And since we all tend to work in silos, it's great that such initiatives can bring us together and we can learn on what are the best implementations that we can leverage. This is a glimpse of the first plant-based food summit, wherein we all came together for the first time at such a big scale with the support from APIDA, Ministry of Food Processing Industries, Sri Prahlad Singh Patel, FSSAI. We had B2B meetings. This was the dawn of a plant-based age at Ahar, again with Sri Narendra Singh Tomar, which was a collaborative effort. We launched a report with EY. We had various member of parliaments coming in. And now we recently concluded our second plant-based food summit with various panel discussions. We had an exhibition. We had Pitch Perfect, which is startups pitching to investors. We had this elaborate conference with very insightful discussions. The recording is available on YouTube. We'll share the link here as well. We keep engaging with institutions also. We have a campaign called Navratri Se Shubh Arambh, wherein we've been engaging with various institutes to make sure that the scientific community is involved. So the discussion that we're having today, where we're talking about fortification, we're talking about processing, it is essential that we bring them in as well, including the culinary community, because they are the ones who will cater to the end consumers, and a lot of science is involved there as well. So that is an aspect that we focus on a lot. And we would encourage any institutes here to join hands with us to take the plant-based movement forward and help your institute elaborate their horizon as well. We also have policy advocacy, as mentioned before, wherein we advocate for GST price parity, plant-based common services center, which is establishment of plant protein clusters, and other aspects, which is import duties, etc., which are essential for us to say out loud to the government and use their help. This is the investors ecosystem. As mentioned, we have the Shark Tank format, Pitch Perfect, which we concluded at the second plant-based food summit. We keep taking such initiatives. So if at all you are planning on raising funds, do reach out to us so we can support you in every manner possible. This is a plant protein cluster. It is an initiative led by Sanjay sir, wherein he has reached out to people to make sure that all the experts come together, such as this webinar, the webinars that we've had earlier, right? It is the power of collaboration. That is what we're trying to do. So we are looking for strategic partners. We are in conversation with a lot of strategic partners, wherein we can make India the ingredient hub of the world through these plant protein clusters. We can have processing centers, cloud kitchen, ensure that we supply good quality raw materials to our members, to India and across the globe at better costs. These are 5 reports that we have published, one being launched with Reenab Research at the summit as well. We'll drop a link for these. These are very insightful, so do go through them. Now moving on to what do the consumers want. So around 64% of the consumers said that they will be willing to switch to another product if they understood what is exactly written in the ingredients side, right? We often now, all of you must be food technologists or health conscious nutritionists. So we often turn the package around to see what is written in the ingredients side. In fact, more than half of them also said that they are willing to pay a premium for ingredients that they understand. So what are companies doing about it? We'll just walk through 2, 3 companies. What are they doing? And then, of course, the experts are here to walk us through the rest. There is one company called Mila. What they're doing is they have decided to use a different approach instead of using the conventional gelling and emulsifying agents that are used. So they're using a combination of biocatalysts, which are enzymes, and a proprietary process that they have to turn the conventional plant-based proteins into functional proteins. And the source that they're using are biocatalysts. So how they will label it, how the products will be labeled is that the single plant protein ingredient itself. So it will have no additional ingredients added to the list, which can a lot of times overwhelm the consumer, right? So this is a great use of enzymes, which is something which we can definitely explore in order to, extract the maximum amount of plant proteins. The next one that we'll be talking about is making texturizers from peels. So Ingredion is also one of our members. So they in the US added a new texturizer, which is made from citrus fruits peels like lemons and limes. And what this does is it reduces their cost. It helps extend their shelf life. It helps enhance their stability. Also, it helps control moisture and with fat binding. They're also trying to explore how else can they enhance the use of citrus-based products, which are something that we all know about, right? To ensure that their products are clean labeled, and this can enhance the consumer interest as well. Next, moving on to technology. So while we are talking about what we can do in terms of additives, in terms of flavors, we definitely need to talk about the technology that we're using. Here is one interesting brand, Surya, which has recently patented a technology. It's called process-controlled microstructure design, wherein they are trying to modify the structure of protein at a micro scale itself, right? So what technology we are using, how we are using it. For example, there is a brand that uses peanuts for extrusion, right? And they say that the end result for it to taste meat-like depends on the extrusion process that they're using. Similar to this one, where they are changing the structure of the protein at the micro scale, and they're trying to fine-tune it. They're also using predictive mathematical modeling. Of course, AI is something that we cannot not mention here when we are talking about technology. So that is something 3D printing, AI, predictive mathematical modeling is something that we should definitely leverage. We should go to institutes who have worked upon these so that we can leverage the learnings that they've had, the data set that they've built to use them in our products. A lot of our members are also a lot of our members and companies outside of India have started to explore this technology, and it's time we begin to explore it as well. So today, like Sanjay sir mentioned, we are here to identify the right ingredients which we can use to enhance the nutritional value, such as soy, hemp. What can be done by leveraging such ingredients without compromising on their taste and texture while we enhance their nutritional profile? What are the next-gen processing techniques that we can use? A few mentioned here. How can we enhance the bioavailability of nutrients? How can we fortify our products with, let's say, calcium, vitamin B12, which is something very often talked about with in a plant-based diet, right? So how can we extract these from natural sources? How can we get the desirable texture while we enhance the nutritional profile? What are the R&D driven processes? How can we reformulate our products to enhance the healthy component of it? And how can we integrate elements such as, let's say, probiotics, prebiotics to enhance the gut health? And of course, the processing techniques that we are leveraging. So these are a few topics that we'll be addressing today. Again, it's a topic very close to everyone's heart, especially Sanjay sir, because he has been an advocate of how we can elevate the nutritional profile and do right with the customer, right? So we have a great set of panelists today and looking forward to hearing from all of you. Thank you.
Great, Aditi. This was a wonderful presentation. And now I'm requesting Dr. Tushar Mehta to come in. Dr. Tushar Mehta studied medicine in Toronto, Canada, and then he continues to practice there. He's part of a very high-profile project called Project Canoe, which is related to youth, and he has been volunteering in Haiti, India, rural India, and also with in NGO called Zero Tolerance. Recently, he set up a plant-based database company, organization, which is basically an online database, which is called Plant-Based Data, and it has all the academic literature, his own podcast, his partner's podcast, and the impact of the plant and animal agriculture on health, environment, food security, and pandemics. So over to you, Dr. Mehta. Floor is yours. What time it is, Dr. Mehta, in Toronto right now? I can't hear you. You are on the mute. You are on the mute. Please unmute yourself. Can you unmute yourself? Dr. Tushar Mehta, can you please unmute yourself? There is some mute button on the top next to leave. Is a button on the red color button?
He has unmuted himself now, but we still can't hear him.
Dr. Mehta, can you now speak?
Okay, I think he's rejoining.
We had heard him earlier, right? Okay. So Mehta has joined back. I think, Mehta, would you like to introduce yourself?
Yeah, sure. Good morning, everyone. So my name is Mehta Gupta, and I'm working as a senior manager in Plant-Based Foods Industry Association. First of all, thank you all for joining today. This is like the first, I think, a direct conversation on how we can improve the nutritional value of the foods. And I think the speakers who are here today, some of them have actually identified and made this as a core part of the business as well. So it will be very interesting to know these insights from them. So I think we can go ahead with this session. And thank you so much.
And Mehta, can you introduce about your background?
Okay, yeah. So my background is from nutritional sciences. So I'm a trained dietitian, and even I worked in the arena of infant nutrition for a couple of years. I think we were talking about methods and how we can elevate the nutritional value. So even I have learned that there are a lot of traditional ways that has been used. For example, we know that ragi malt is one. It's also a plant-based dish only, and traditionally how it is made actually enhance its nutritional profile. So the things like sprouting the grain and then dry roasting them helps increase the amylase content of the grain. And I think this kind of a method and an understanding is also used currently in preparing plant-based milk, where we're adding enzymes, amylase, to make it more nutritional dense. So this is something which companies have employed right now, using it right now. But I will just add that we can also look towards the traditional aspects, that how been preparing food, how been it's prepared by our grandparents, what kind of methods they used. We can employ those also in producing our recent products.
Good. So you reminded me of Sanjay Chula. I grew up in a Punjabi family, so we used to have in our childhood a common community kitchen, which is basically an earthen clay oven. We call it tandoor. So we used to share that, and that's why there were no packaging. The food was local and clean label, of course, and so many other advantages. So we are now bringing it back through various amazing central kitchen, cloud kitchens, and the home chefs, which are there in every locality now, serving about 100, 200, 500 customers in every locality. And that's where there's a future of plant-based foods, which is a food which is local. You can get soybean from US, but cook it locally. So when you cook it locally, you are able to have those wholesome, sumptuous food delivered day after day to the right kind of customers. If Tushar has not joined back, has Tushar joined back? Okay, Tushar is here. Dr. Tushar Mehta, over to you. While joining, you would have got an option to use the computer mic. That option should have been set yes. If you have set this yes, then you should be able to speak, because we saw you speaking in the beginning, and right now it tells me that your mic is not functioning, because it gives that sign. Can you try speaking one more time?
Aditi, perhaps we can't see him either. I cannot see Dr. Tushar now.
Yes, because Dr. Tushar, I think while selecting, you have not selected that option of saying that yes, I want to use the computer mic and computer video. So probably that's why. So very quickly, I would like to bring in our next speaker. We have Indranil from IFF. Indranil?
Good morning. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Oh,
Yes, we
good.
can.
I was concerned that because Dr. Tushar is not able to connect.
He is sending a message that can you hear me? But I don't hear you, Dr. Tushar, even now. Can you try one more time? Otherwise, we have such an amazing looking Indranil. Ready to
Thank you, Sanjay. I think I wore this T-shirt so that everybody can recognize me.
And I should also tell
because-
everyone that you are from IFF, the great
Yeah.
IFF. IFF
Which
is
is-
the largest importer of soybean, protein from the US to India. And
Right.
I don't know, Indranil, you are still thwarting the sustainable stamp, but this is something we want you to bring sustainable food to India, and I hope that you will get the sustainable stamp soon.
Right. So let me say a few words about myself. So
Yes,
I
please.
have been in the soy protein business for many years. Of course, I joined a company called Protein Technologies in 1995. And then it changed many avatars. It became DuPont Protein Technologies, and then Soleil, and then DuPont Nutrition and Health, DuPont Nutrition and Biosciences, and now IFF, as DuPont sold our ingredient business to IFF around 2 years back. Now, having said that, when I started in India, we did not, we did not know where soy protein isolate fall in the custom tariff also. So, but today we have done very well over the last many years. And we primarily sell soy protein isolate, soy protein concentrate, and a little bit of pea proteins as well. So we are focused on plant proteins. And as Sanjay just said, that we always look forward that how food, nutrition, and all can be enhanced. This company, 50 years back, or maybe more than that, screened all the proteins which are available in the world and felt soy protein can have a great future. At that time, this company was of Ralston Purina in US. The Purina, is a pet food brand of Nestle now. And soybean was considered one of the potential at that time because soybean was, as Sanjay talked about, the sourcing. So it's a big crop in US, Brazil, Argentina. So these were available, mostly used in animal feed. So the food uses is still 2 to 5% or 6%, certainly less than 10%. So so there is no competition for this to be consumed in other than feed. So if you see really milk, I'm just talking about milk because that's in India considered as healthy, nutritious. But if you see that consumer will buy more and more milk because they always think that milk is good, and that's why the price and all will fluctuate. So you will see milk prices or milk-based product prices keep going up. Soya is that sense is much stable. And one of the things that we considered uh, when we considered soya was its digestibility and the amino acid profile, which again Sanjay talked about 9 essential amino acids. And even today, when we are looking for the new proteins, and we still consider as a company that we should have, or we should look at those proteins which are have a PDCAS value of 1 or close to 1 from the plant-based. So I think pea protein, which is again a plant-based, but having 0.7 or so as PDCAS, we are looking at canola, and of course, I think Dr. Tushar may talk about it because that's a product which has 0.93 as PDCAS value. We are looking at sunflower also and things like that. So anyway, I think one of the thing is how do you process this, as Sanjay said. So it could be in the form of flours, it could be in the form of concentrate, it could be in the form of isolate. So flours have some flavor issue and less functionality, while isolate may be more processed, but it has more functional and more, less beany taste, or, which makes once you make a product out of it, whether it's a burger or whether it is beverages, maybe isolate gives a better results from the point of view on taste and flavor and things like that. Now there is a balance between whether you use a flour or whether you use a isolate and concentrate. The reason being, the more you process it, the prices goes up. So we need to consider that when you process products, and whether it is affordable by the consumer and the your customers, we are into B2B business. Now, having said that, I can give you one or two examples. Is that when we make a meat analog kind of a product, I really don't know whether the consumers are looking for a nutrition enhancement in that, other than the protein or the fat, and which is traditionally present in any burgers, which is a chicken or a beef or a meat burger. They are looking at the texture, the bite, the succulence, the things like that, which comes in the form of a burger. But really, speaking, I really don't know whether they're looking at vitamin B12 and things like that. But if the consumer wants vitamin B12, one can add that. Only thing is, maybe it will, make the product more costlier or things like that. Having said that, Sanjay also talked about impossible. So if you really look at impossible, add a heme kind of a thing in the product. So when you fry the product in the pan, the burger, there is a bleeding of red color, which is the blood color which the US people like. So I really don't know whether heme. That's what. Yes, heme. So the point is that whether the Indian will like something in their tawa or wherever they are cooking it, whether that red color bleeding out of the burger or burger patties, I mean to say. So I think it's all consumer and what consumers are looking at. Maybe that's what there is always a kind of a debate whether the Indians will like the meat-based analogs, or they like the texture or not, because some of the vegetarian had never had it. But I feel younger generation will always have it because they are looking for something new, something innovative, something which they are seeing all over the world, and those will definitely will be taken up by the consumers in a big way, and we are seeing that we had, I would say, a little setback because of the COVID. Things have little bit slowed down, but I hope with the economy again coming back to normalcy and things like that, hopefully we will come back to the pace that we were 4 years back or something like that, when plant-based products were really talked about, the new innovation and the new thing coming into play. So, as I say that we still look at the amino acid profile and digestibility of the new proteins which we are looking at, and also the sourcing. So and then again the allergenicity, then the GM and non-GM. So all these are to be considered. So this is just I wanted to start the talk with this. I will stop now because there are several speakers. I can come back again, Sanjay, if you want me. So I'm here in the seminar. Anything you specifically want from me to talk about, you can tell. I mean.
Yes, Indran, we are getting you back very soon again. And
Okay.
may I request Dr. check the mic again, please?
Me now without this headphone?
Yes, yes.
You can't hear me? Okay. Somehow there's a problem with the microphone. Sorry about that, everyone, and small technical difficulty. First of all, I want to say thank you for inviting me, and also I just want to say how impressed I am at all the things that are going on here. I'm trying to share my screen now. Can you see this right here? Can you see my PowerPoint presentation?
Yes, we can see.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Great. I can just maybe, I don't have to go into presenter mode. So I'll just very quickly tell you a little bit about myself. I am a physician, okay? I'm not a food scientist, and I know a lot of the presentations you've been having and what you've been doing is from the food science and the business angle. But I'm a physician. I do some global health work. I've done work in rural India and so forth. I promote veganism and plant-based diet. And I'm also an environmentalist as well. So I work in many different organizations. There's a little bit about me. I'm on the board of directors of an organization called Well-Fed World. And I do some work in Haiti as well. And I'm also the co-founder and one of the directors of this project called Plant-Based Data. I hope you'll visit the project and see all the information that we have in this database. It's not like raw data. What it is, it's a database of academic and institutional studies, the mostly peer-reviewed scientific literature that exists about plant-based foods in terms of its nutrition and health, environmental sustainability, the pandemic problems with animal-based products, and so forth. And so we do advocacy and education around plant-based foods, all right? Now, normally we promote whole food plant-based diets, right? That's normally what we promote for people. But within that realm of plant-based foods, there is definitely a space, a very important space for what we call transition foods or plant-based meats, plant-based milks, plant-based egg products. There is an important role for this, and that's not to be underemphasized. At the same time, there's a global increased criticism of processed foods. And this is going right up to places like the United Nations. For example, their most recent report, the State of Food Security and Nutrition in the World, is starting to heavily criticize processed foods. And this is in part due to the influence of the global meat, dairy, and egg industry. The global meat and animal agriculture industry actually has a lot of influence on the scientific discourse, environmental discourse, and policy discourse around the world. And indeed, there are a lot of processed foods that are very bad for us, but not every single processed food is necessarily bad. Within plant-based products, there's a wide range. Some plant-based products are actually really high quality and can contribute to health. And I see a lot of others that can be very bad for health. And I've advised sometimes a couple of plant-based food companies on trying to increase the nutritional value of their products. Some of the principles that I think of when we're talking about, optimizing plant-based foods, and Aditi, you kind of did half of my presentation. It seems like you're already very aware of what I'm saying. So I'm not saying completely new things here. But what we're doing is that the plant-based meat or the plant-based dairy or the plant-based egg product in general should meet or exceed the nutrition value of the animal food or the
This
animal
slide,
product.
Can we make it bigger? This slide is
Can we
difficult
make
to
the
read.
slide bigger? Yeah, okay, let me just see here. Slideshow, play from current slide. Is that better?
Yes, it is.
Yeah,
Thank you.
okay.
Continue, please.
Okay, you're welcome, yes. So the plant-based food should meet or exceed the essential nutrients of the animal food or the animal product. I like to call it animal product, actually, not animal food. And now there's also an opportunity for super nutrition, right? And also an opportunity to far exceed the environmental benefits of the food compared to animal products. But you could also be worse, right? So we have to be careful about this. We want to have rational processing. And I think Aditi and Sanjay Bhai, you were mentioning this. When it comes to processing, how can we use the most essential things and the best processes and the best ingredients, including some novel ingredients or some semi-natural ingredients that you've extracted from oranges? How can we really optimize this and exclude harmful elements, excessive ingredients, and things like that? How can we increase the health, ecology, food security value, and accessibility of these products as well? And also, how can we avoid false information? Now, the animal agriculture industry is full of false information, but I see that in the plant-based world, we also have products that are advertised as healthy, but not necessarily healthy, okay? So we want to really make it a win and not do any kind of false advertising ourselves. So if we're talking about sodium, for example, in our plant-based products, my general guideline, now this is not based on exact studies or anything like that, but looking at the best products, we can see that they may have about 200 milligrams of sodium per 10 grams of protein. So we should avoid looking at sodium per unit. For example, if you're selling plant-based nuggets, or if you're selling a soy chicken or a plant-based chicken or sausage or something like that, don't just look at the sodium per unit of X, Y, or Z. Look at the overall amount of protein that somebody would consume in a meal, and the sodium should be proportional to that, okay? So I think that the best products generally have about 200 milligrams of sodium per 10 grams of protein, and it should generally not really exceed this, okay? The fat level, okay? I'm comparing the fat levels here of two what I think are very good products. They're not necessarily the only good products in the market, but widely available in Canada. And I think they're out of the best products available in Canada, some of the best ones available in Canada in terms of taste, affordability, nutrition, etc. Now, the tofurkey sausage is a little bit higher in fat, maybe a bit too high, okay? 15 grams of fat per 24 grams of protein. Whereas the field roast sausage is 10 grams of fat per 28 grams of protein. Now, both of these are fantastic products. They taste excellent and they're widely available, affordable. But I think that the field roast, might be a good guideline in this category. And note, there's a lot of fad thinking when it comes to coconut oil. But coconut oil has the same problems as palm oil in terms of sustainability, but also in terms of very high saturated fat content. And coconut oil has become a fad amongst many people and also in the plant-based movement or the vegan movement. But the research clearly shows that the saturated fat in coconut oil and palm oil are not good for you. So we should be avoiding what we call tropical oils, okay? And both of those products do not have tropical oils, so that's very good. Now, the protein content, a lot of, again, products, when we're looking at a plant-based sausage or something like that, we want to see that you have between 20 and 30 grams of protein in a serving of the plant-based meat. Okay, that's a good guideline. This makes it on par or better than most meat products. Okay, so we want to beat those guys at their own game. Another thing is that we should, for plant-based milks, a lot of the plant-based milks like almond milk and some of the others, I call them white water. Okay, they're white water. They don't have protein and they don't have substantial, nutritional content. There's very little of the original product left there. They taste great, but they're not, they're protein deficient. Now, when you look at people in India and people everywhere, our practices in diet are quite variable. A lot of my family in India, for example, has already a low protein diet. So if I take milk away, dairy milk away, and I give them almond milk, they're already low protein, and I might be removing another 30% of the protein from their diet. Okay, we're going to end up having long-term health problems. the plant milk that should replace dairy milk should contain the same amount of protein or maybe even a bit more. So I think there should be about 7 or 8 grams of protein per serving of plant milk. Now, I should have specified, but a serving in Canada is considered 250 ml, so 1 cup or a quarter of a liter. Whereas in India, I know often it's 200 mLs in these little pouches that you get. But I think, I go by 250 ml here, okay? And so our pitfalls are these low protein substitutes and, and poor ratios of sodium and fat. We have to be careful about that. So when it comes to, and so that's the next thing is when we want to make a product that maybe even exceeds the health value of animal products. Now, note that animal products, are they good or bad? Or is a plant-based product good or bad? Well, it depends on what you are replacing. If somebody has nothing else to eat, then an animal product may be better to eat than eating nothing, right? If you're going without food. Or if you have a really bad or deficient plant-based product, if you're just going to eat white rice, then maybe in some cases, or in many cases, an animal product will provide you with much more nutrition than plain white rice can provide you with. But if you're going to substitute a plant-based meat for an animal-based meat, then you have the opportunity to exceed the nutritional value. And we want to fortify it so that we're replacing the nutrients, but also exceeding them. One of the main things, and I put it at the top of the list, is vitamin B12, right? I think that it's a great opportunity to put between 2 to 5 micrograms, or maybe even a bit more micrograms of vitamin B12 per serving of whatever plant-based product we have, whether it's a plant-based milk or a plant-based meat or something like that. We should really try to beat animal products at this game. And there's a good benefit for people in doing so, okay? We don't want to go to excessively high levels. I think we have to be a little bit careful about that, although many people will say you can go as high as you want. But I think that between 2 to 5 micrograms per product, maybe a little bit higher, up to 10 micrograms, depends, could make our products really good. Now, calcium. Calcium can be added to plant-based meats. I've seen that. But definitely for plant-based milks, you want at least 250 milligrams or 300 milligrams minimum of calcium per 250 ml of the plant-based milk, okay? Then there's things like iron, zinc, folate, vitamin A, vitamin D3, omega-3s, iodine, selenium. We can talk to nutritionists and food scientists about like what is the proper amount and the proper way to add these things into products to again make their make the food have a super nutrition. A very interesting thing that might also kind of fall into the plant-based food in commercial food category are vitamins. Now there's vitamins in India and all over the world that have all kinds of wide variations in terms of what they contain. There's sometimes very little best practices or science as to what a vitamin should really contain. It sometimes has many things, and many of them may not be necessary or beneficial. Some of them may even be harmful, if you take them all the time. Now, the Vegan Society in the UK makes a very interesting product called the Veg1 vegan supplement. And looking at the things that are there, India may want to have a similar product. It's an opportunity for some of the business people to create this at an affordable cost, I hope. And the other thing is we can look at some of the vitamins they have there and try to, implement them in the plant-based foods that we also have, okay? So these are just some ideas. In the top right, you see the B12, D3, iodine, et cetera, that are contained in those products. Now note that in the UK and some countries, iodine is not put in iodized salt. They have plain salt over there, but they put iodine in the dairy milk. And that's why when you're becoming vegan, you may lose the iodine content of your food. But, there's some considerations around iodine as well. So fortified plant-based milks. By far, soy is the best replacement for milks, okay? Now, the meat and dairy industry have done have worked for decades to make soy look bad. They've sort of demonized soy for many years in the media and social media, and it's caught on so much that everybody kind of believes this thing. But soy has the best evidence of many plant foods and almost any singular plant food of reducing breast cancer with long-term consumption, reducing prostate cancer, reducing cholesterol, and also helping provide stronger bones. And there's some evidence of reduced fractures in people who do consume, good quantities of soy in the long run. And the research shows the benefit is when people are having moderate or larger consumption. When people have very small consumption of soy, you don't really get the benefit. It has excellent protein, and it's one of the most sustainable proteins. And when you fortify the plant milk, if you have soy milk with calcium and B12, maybe vitamin D, you have a superior product to dairy milk, okay? Now, as I mentioned, the other plant-based milks are protein deficient, but sometimes there are pea milk and other milks that, do contain the same amount of protein, but in many cases they require excessive processing and other extra ingredients to sort of make them into a smooth texture, and they become more expensive as well. But soy is definitely the best, and it's obviously a traditional product in parts of the world like China and many other Asian countries too. Silk is one of the ones that I buy over here. That's available in Canada, and you can sort of see some of the parameters that I was mentioning before. That's not the parameters in silk, but these are the things that I think would be beneficial. Okay. Now, we have to look at packaging when it comes to plant-based products, and I think especially plant-based milks. See, we want to save the planet here. We want to save animals. We want to help humans. That's one of our big motivations for having these plant-based foods. But things like Tetra Paks have become so common and so normalized in our society. But they're one of the most devastating forms of packaging. And we are making these things in the millions of tons, and they're mostly going just in all kinds of places into the environment. They're one of the most devastating packages because they use actually multiple different materials and different layers of different materials to make the product. And that, compared to like something that contains a singular or just two materials, they become more difficult to recycle or biodegrade, or even just incinerating some of these things to get rid of them would be a good thing. But this is the hardest, and they're not really that recyclable, even though they are advertised as being recyclable. Okay. Now, we want to have options for reduced packaging in milk, because this is going to be one of the most ubiquitous and common products that can be delivered around the world. So can you have can you have businesses that make fresh local soy milk and deliver them to your home, just like they used to do or still do with dairy milk in some cases in India? Can we have spray dried soy milk with very low packaging? And my first wedding, I got married when I was in India. My wife and I got married in Canada, but we also got married in India. And we used spray dried soy milk in our wedding, and it was really tasty, and everybody really liked it. It has a smooth texture. It's affordable. It has a great taste, and then you can use it for chai and all kinds of stuff. It does not require refrigeration, so a lot of advantages in a place like India, especially amongst poor populations. And also, we can have pouches of milk with longer shelf life. Now, of course, these do use more plastic, but they're still going to be better than a Tetra Pak, right, with a single type of plastic material. Okay, so we have to think of ways of reducing or even eliminating, in some cases, the packaging. And this is not on industry radar in most cases, but I want to emphasize how important it really is. Okay. Now, here's a couple of products that I mentioned that I think are some of the best in class of plant-based products. Silk soy milk is one of the best. It tastes so great, and it's fortified and everything like that. The only problem there is the packaging. That's not a Tetra Pak, but it's still a box that has impact. But these plant-based sausages, you can see here, the fat content is a little bit high, but other than that, the saturated fat is very low. And in the ingredients, they use canola oil, which was mentioned just a little while ago as well, canola as being a good thing. And it has a high omega-3 content, and which could be beneficial. The sodium is less than 200 milligrams per 10 grams of protein. So you can see that there. One of the things that they do is they add a little bit of potassium there, which gives you a salt flavor, and while keeping the sodium a little bit lower. That's one of the tricks that the owners of Tofurky do. Here's field roast. This is also a really excellent product. Okay, one sausage has 28 grams of protein, and again, the sodium is a little bit higher here than the it's just about the 200 milligram per 10 grams of protein. It's right about that level. So it's good too, the lower fats. And you can see some of the vitamins that they use to fortify this product as well. B12 is really well fortified. Zinc they fortify, which is great. And, a couple of other things. But those two really stand out, the zinc and the B12, because plant-based products are criticized for having low zinc levels. And this is the ingredients, but you can look that up online. I'm not going to dwell on that. And I'm going to emphasize that there's also opportunities for research in terms of plant-based meats, because we'd love to see research showing the nutritional impacts of having good plant-based foods for, let's say, low-income populations, and what are their nutritional benefits for people, just the way animal agriculture tends to do with some small studies, but we can probably do this with plant-based foods as well. And the last thing I want to mention that was just mentioned is, when we're looking at protein quality, we should not be fooled by things like PDCAS or the DAS scores. These are not good measures of protein quality, okay? Because they're outdated. They are research that is done in animals that may not have good applicability to humans. And they're not clinical studies. Clinical studies mean studies that are done actually in humans to see what the result is in humans. For example, people consuming plant-based products, exercising, and just checking their muscle growth, or giving them to people and checking the nutritional status of people after people eat them for X number of days or X number of days per week. And then you measure the nutritional scores of people, nutrient levels, growth, etc. So what we need is human studies, and we have to be very careful about the PDCAS, DAS scores, and other protein scores that are not really research-based in humans, but these are being very, very emphasized by animal agriculture industries. Of course, we can be aware of that and sometimes show that some of our products can have those good scores too, but we have to be careful of that. And I would avoid this. And we want to emphasize a better standard of protein quality compared to these outdated scores made up in animals and animal research, which is really actually deadly to animals and has not great relevance in humans. I think those are just some of the main points I want to go through right now, and maybe I'll stop sharing my screen. There we go. And I hope that was beneficial. Could you guys hear me the whole time? I want to make sure that you could hear me the whole time.
Yes. It was very good, Tushar. Thank you for making those comments. You pulled a lot of punches. I personally feel that you were a little bit more, I would say, forgiving for the plant-based meat, but for plant-based dairy, those guys are running for cover. And we have a couple of speakers after this, and some of the things that you said about coconut oil not being there, and other oil, and I'm sure you will get some replies. So please stay back here for some more time. Postpone your sleep a little bit more, because they are going to go after you right now. We have dairy people here, the speakers, like Sonal and Nancy Cow. We have also a lot of people amongst the audience, like Pratichi Kapoor is from the Carry, and we have from ADM Nutrition. We have some other amazing speakers, not really speakers today because they are not speaking as if confirmed speaker, but they will speak from the audience. And at the same time, we also have some amazing news today to share everybody, that a big celebrity from the cricketing world, Ajinkya Rahane, agreed to support our industry by supporting OT, which is also a plant-based milk brand, and their CEO, founder is also here, Ankush Jamdagni. And Ankush, can you come, and we want to clap for you. You have really landed such a amazing cricketer to support your brand. Congratulations.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, Sanjay ji.
So can you tell us some more about you yourself and the OT brand?
Yes, definitely, my pleasure. Very good morning to everybody. We incorporated OT in the year 2021, and we've been making oat milk since about a year now, barista grade. We got into this space primarily to be able to move the needle for people in terms of a healthier option, a more sustainable option. People are still coming to terms with the fact that dairy industry is completely broken. And I think more than lactose intolerance, we are solving the problem of broken dairy industry. I think lactose intolerance comes later. The rampant animal agriculture that is causing global warming, climate change, and a lot of health issues, especially hormonal imbalances, prostate cancer, breast cancer, are directly linked to some form of dairy or processed dairy products. So we got in this purely to create an impact, to create awareness and education around how we can switch. We found oat milk and millet milk to be suitable alternatives. If people have to move away from dairy for their morning coffees, for their evening chais, for their drinks, the product has to be versatile. So oat milk made a lot of sense. We know soy milk and almond has been available for a while now. However, the B2B applications are slightly limited because of either the taste factor or the thickness, creaminess factor. So somewhere oat milk and millet milk solves these issues to some extent. Of course, nobody's perfect. We are yet to get to a stage where we can call our product to be completely functional in terms of nutritional value, being able to meet everything that the dairy has. But yeah, we are happy to say we are hormone free. We are free from preservatives and aflatoxins and some of the really harmful elements that seep into dairy industry. We are about 10 times more sustainable, so that's a guilt-free consumption, considering how rapidly climate change is right now accelerating. So yeah, I think it was just like-minded people, like of course plant-based food industry association, brands like Dancing Cow, Otish, Altco, Altfoods. I consider all brands to be friends in this space because we're working towards a larger cause. More brands are good for this space. Maybe not so good for the brands, but I think the space needs more brands. It needs good amount of discounting. It requires huge marketing, education, awareness spend. And as Sanjay Say was mentioning, we realized it requires a mega or at least a big icon, a major influencer, a sports icon who can help create those behavioral changes. With behavioral change, I'm sure market will eventually align. So that's a little bit about our journey and what we're trying to do at OT. And most recently, we launched oat milk kesar badam, oat milk coffee, and right now we have 5 products in the market, including a premium grade millet milk. And yeah, that's it for now. I'm happy to address anything else.
So thank you, Ankush. And Tushar, we have more people from the dairy industry on this webinar today. People like Vikas Patil from Mirtilo. I think Vikas, you can come in next. And then we have Samir Prasad into the plant-based ice creams and similar other dairy products. And we also have Abhijit from ADM Nutrition. So a lot of speakers are there. Jitendra Goenka is a very big shot from the Imami group. We try to invite him every time. I hope today Jitendra you will speak for some time. Show up your face. I know you are going to go big time in the plant-based sector sometime very soon, and we are all curious. So now over to you, Vikas. Vikas from Mirtilo, because represent the organization which is like a very big organization in the plant-based milk sector. Because you can unmute yourself. Please unmute yourself, and we cannot see you. So perhaps you have done the same option of not saying yes to using the mic through the computer. So maybe you can log out and log in since we are not able to hear you. And in the meantime, I would like to ask Sonal if you can kindly come in.
Yeah. Good morning to Sanjay ji and to everyone else. Yeah. Yes, so I think it's a very relevant theme that we are discussing in terms of nutrition versus what the consumers may also be desiring and wanting. And I also feel amidst all the nutrition talk, there is a thing from the industry point of view that uh, there is a validity. I mean, we have to attach importance to what the consumers are really wanting themselves. uh, and there is a lot of education which is also required in the space of actually defining, if I can say so, the meaning of the word clean label. Because the way certain words get trendy at times. Um, Similar is the process happening with the word clean label. That is what at least Dr. Tushar, in fact, I was listening to you very attentively. At least in India, that is the scene which is happening in terms of the entrepreneurs seeking the right products from these companies. And when we insist on, and of course, I mean, there is always a transparency from the big industries as well into showing their back-end ingredients. But then with every one, an ingredient which is looking like one ingredient, when you hold that big packet and you insist on seeing the ingredients list is actually very long. So one is that, and the other is, of course, we've all, read our basic biology books and how proteins do get denatured, very easily. So how relevant it is in the sense of ensuring that the taste profile also remains very good, and there are no excessive sugars to it to mask the real bitter taste of protein, which will come across if we are really selling, say, something which is embedded with which is having protein powder in it. Because I'm also attending a course on nutrition from Stanford Center for Health Education these days. So really looking forward to actually share more insights on how do we really up the game of nutrition in the real sense of the vegan industry, and at the same time remain very realistic in terms of achieving the revenues which we all have to achieve. So I think somewhere that balance has to remain. And yeah, really looking forward to industries like IFF, to industries like Ingredion, to help us get educated on the real meaning of the term, clean label. Um, and yeah, at the level of White Cub, from the point of view of, say, taking Dr. Tushar as a reference point for this conversation right now. White Cub is not just India's first dedicated vegan brand, but we are also proud users of soy since the very beginning. And yes, we do continue to serve soy in most of our product offerings. More than 50% of our annual business comes from soy-based offerings. We do use MP-grown non-GM soy. Um, and yeah, as far as coconut oil is concerned, I have a lot of, you know, uh, churning in my mind right now to have a one-to-one discussion with Dr. Tushar on this sometimes, because our hero product, if I quote Dr. Sanjay Sethi on this, is butter for now. Butter is is essentially an emulsion talking in terms of the industrial terms of of um, of lecithin, of arrowroot powder, and of coconut oil. And I have always believed in the efficacy and in the nutrition, in the correct nutrition profile of coconut oil, and also very proud of the fact that yes, we are not using any preservatives in our soy. So when I say that in our butter, when I say that, I'm also referring to all those ingredients which actually do get used as preservatives. Um, and while technically they are not. So like, for example, in ice creams, I'm not very sure if everyone present here already knows this or not, but whenever we see products which have this sentence written no preservatives, while they have added stabilizers and emulsifiers to it, please do know that there are actually stabilizers and emulsifiers in it, which are acting as preservatives. So as a brand, we have always stayed away from such pseudo marketing. We have always written what we are actually having and not taken help of any kind of a, like a falsely misleading the consumers from that point of view. So yeah, so this is all I would like to add at this time. I'll come back to this conversation as per Sanjay's requirement.
Thank you so much, Sonal. We are proud of you. And I hope that, what Dr. Tushar Mehta advised, all of the members will continue to embed more and more health into the products. And as Indranil was offering, go to IFF, and there are organizations like Novozyme or AAK, and of course you have Simrise and Simega. They're all helping, and you can go to all these companies, Jivadan. They are supporting all of you, and you should take advantage of their presence in the country. And then some of the organizations which are bringing products to you, Brentag, ICMD, and many other international organizations, they're bringing the right kind of ingredients. And as I said, IFF is my favorite. So now I'm also requesting Dancing Cow, Aarohi Surya, a very, very passionate woman entrepreneur, to kindly come and take your space and give answer to some of the questions that Dr. Mehta raised, and also tell us, have you made any improvement in your product over the last few months? Have you removed some problems which adversely impact our health? And what Dr. Tushar Mehta told, it has jolted me from inside. I mean, there's a lot of things that we have to do, because he has given us like a homework for the rest of the year, that what we have to do in our products. And but I also want you to have some sort of a response to what Dr. Mehta was advising.
Absolutely, Sanjay ji. Hi, everyone. Hi, Dr. Mehta. So I'm going to answer some of the things that you're putting in chat and your questions. And it was really insightful to see your presentations and presentation. And there are some things that I would actually like to raise. So very quickly, I want to introduce myself. My name is Aarohi, and I'm the co-founder of Dancing Cow. Dancing Cow is a plant-based food company that aims to transform the dairy industry, with a delicious and sustainable offering, one sip at a time. So we believe in creating products that don't compromise on taste, health, or the environment. And we have two SKUs at the moment. They are Otish Oat Milk, which is our flagship product. It's a creamy and rich milk alternative made from oats. It's also made from mung beans and millets. So we have that, and we also have Otish chocolate milk. And as Ankush rightly mentioned in his, as he mentioned that there are certain challenges when it comes to soy milk, mainly when it comes to Horeca, because they're looking for high quality milk that is creamy and is also barista friendly. It goes well with the coffee, it tastes well. So that's how they are more they're more attracted to oat milk and almond milk compared to soy milk. So this is one of the things that we get as a feedback from Horeca, hotels and restaurants. And in terms of additives, I strongly believe that when it comes to additives, we are Dancing Cow. We believe that additives are what can be explained as functional ingredients. There are certain perception associated with certain elements as ingredients, and we believe that functional ingredients are there to make a product behave in an expected way, like having the right texture that would make it last longer. For example, when we were designing our otish, we wanted to design something that is suitable for both baristas and non-baristas alike, and it was very crucial for us that it would mix well with coffee, and when it gets boiled it doesn't curdle. So we in our experiments, we found that coffee is very acidic in nature for regular oat milk or other sort of some other plant-based milk. But by putting acidity regulator made from naturally occurring minerals like potassium or phosphorus, we can balance out and lower the pH level. So I would say the term additive is simply a general way of describing a type of ingredient that has functional properties. So I mean, we can anyways call it an ingredient, but I really believe that we need to celebrate the progress that is being made in cleaner labels, that certain brands have been able to make these progress. I mean, they have been balancing taste, texture, and enhancing the shelf life and nutritional content. Also, without resorting to additives can be really difficult, but there are some brands in global perspective that have been doing the same. Also, as the plant-based demand keeps rising, I feel that it is important to have more customer education, like educating customers about the significance of cleaner label, the benefits of different processing techniques, and also the importance and meaning of additives, and differentiation between chemicals and additives, and different processing techniques is what we need to educate the people on. And also the nutritional value of plant-based food. I mean, this would create a deeper appreciation for these plant-based products. And we need to make people understand that the plant-based products, and they don't necessarily have to taste exactly like their dairy component or plant-based meat. But there are certain higher sourced ingredients that are being added, and they're meant to taste in a certain way. So that is very important. And lastly, I also believe that there should be a very strong collaboration within the food industry. When we collaborate with chefs, nutritionists, even farmers and manufacturers, or like right now how we are having these discussion, it's very, very vital for this journey. And sharing knowledge and experiences, and experimenting with new ingredients, because because of these calls we understand what new ingredients are being introduced in the market, and what refined techniques are being launched, and collectively we can accelerate this process, and we can progress towards more enticing and nourishing plant-based options. I wanted to answer doctors one note here about plant-based beverages targeting the high income population. Okay, so I wanted to let you guys know that we do not, our intention is not to target the high income population. It's just that it's all about economies of scale. Since the demand for plant-based food and plant-based dairy is so low, we produce the product in a very minimal or smaller quantities, and that makes the final pricing of the product very expensive. Our intention is obviously not to target them. It just happens that the final price of the product, because of elements and processes and different margins at different stages, makes it expensive. And as the demand rises, our prices will obviously go down with time.
Thank you, Aarohi. So now I can call it that some of the words that you said, they really are very important. Some of the issues that you raised are fantastic, and I think we should focus on that. I remember that when we were coming out with the award ceremony last year during the earlier this year during the Plant-Based Food Summit, and you had competed, but you were upset that your company did not win the award. So I would welcome you to come and be a part of many other opportunities which are there. For example, IFF, the Food Forum, which is in Mumbai. It's on 30th of November and 1st of December. It's done by an amazing Images group. So you should take part there. And then there is Anu Food, which is done by Anuga. Anuga is the largest food show in the world, and that is in Germany. So Kolmasi organizes that. It's from 7th to 9th of September. And those who are in the ingredient sector, I know Pranesh is participating in a big way. Pranesh will call you today also to. This is FI India, which is by Informa, which is again a wonderful big multinational organization into conferences and events, and that is also in Mumbai on 17th to 19th of August. That's this month, so just about 10 days, 7 days from now. So all these three events are in Mumbai, but also there are events in Delhi. So there is a restaurant congress which is happening with the help of Franchise India, and then Economic Times will do, and they're all side by side around 27th, 28th of September, and both in Aero City in New Delhi. So you should take part in these events, but do not forget that we have our biggest summit, which is on 21st May 2024. Dr. Mehta, you are welcome to join us, and you please travel and meet us here and be a speaker. You must have seen that first you are connecting very well with people, and second you are making some of our members uncomfortable in the right way, and then only they will push themselves to change and bring in those products. You are speaking the voice of the consumers, and many times I say it. So अभी तक मैं बदनाम हो रहा था, अभी आप भी उसी लिस्ट में शामिल हो गए. So I was the only one who was delivering this uncomfortable message to the industry, and I'm very happy that a very powerful force in you has come and supported this voice. And this little bit of pillow fight within the industry is required for us to get in shape, so that the customer does not throw us out. So wow, what a powerful statement. Plant-based meals are, most of them are like white water. Wow, this is too strong. So I think this is the time that I should get the Goliath of plant-based milk in the country, because he is representing Mirtilo, which is a co-packer for most of the plant-based milk. I don't want to spill the beans by telling which brand is actually nothing but Mirtilo on the behind it. So I don't want to erode their market value by saying those things, but because you have to defend the whole of the industry. And on the other side is me and Dr. Tushar.
So I must also join you, I guess. So, like no Dr. Tushar is like no talking like innocent. There is no partiality and very harsh statement or very straightforward, which we have to accept, sir. We have to accept, and we will try to improve it. I am talking on the behalf of plant-based drink. All manufacturers, all brands, irrespective of our competition also.
Yeah,
or
don't call it milk, call it
yes,
drink.
yes.
You can call it beverage. You can
Drink.
call it not milk. You can call it, don't call it MYLK milk. Even then you can be arrested. Do not call it milk. Call it beverage or something else, because still India does not allow in the year of millets to call millet milk as millet milk. You have to call it millet beverage. Okay? Yes,
So
continue,
yes.
Vikas.
So totally agreed. Let me introduce myself. I'm Vikas Patil. I'm founder of Mirtilo International. So I started my company in 2016 with ingredients. Ingredients means we are sourcing ingredients from quality global producer across Europe, USA, and Japan. So even Pacific, like Australia also. So that was our core business till 2017. 2017 we got first award in food ingredients in Noida for plant-based drink, right? And that's where we start. Like, no, I thought like we should start manufacturing in India. When I approached some multinational companies, the cost of machines and all was very high, but still we managed to get help of government of India with copyright, and we finally entered post COVID, and a few brands started coming into market with the help of us, as well as there are some good brands which are already making very nice presence in market. So today we should talk about the nutrition value of plant-based product, whether it meat or milk or egg. So I'm not so much knowledgeable about meat or egg, but yes, I can talk about milk because we are doing that business, and we know the every plus minus depth of this business. So as so many founder comes to us. They want to develop very nice product. They want to launch very nice product which will mimic to milk. Like, no, as the doctor was saying, soya is very close to milk in terms of nutrition. If we extract soya milk or soya drink, we can get 3 gram protein per 100 ml, which is not common in oat milk or almond milk, which is the protein is almost 0.7 to 0.8 gram, or on an average say 1 gram maximum. Okay, that means what? Plant-based drink is offering 33% of or 66% less protein than the dairy milk. So we call it as a milk alternative. So even I am on that side that we should develop products which is equivalent or at least near, not equivalent. Whatever main selling point, no, so we have to make a product which is a tasty or which can be consumable. So it is not a medicine, or it is not some kind of treatment where we are gulping that milk with closing our eyes and just no. So that is the limitation where Indian people, not only in India but Europe also, you can see the leading brands like Alpro, leading brands like Oli, they have only 1 gram protein per 100 ml. So what Indianness we can bring to this is we can extract protein from our millets, from our beans, from our even soybean. If you consider, we need not to import soybean from USA, or we have our very well Indianness, like no non-GMO soya, which is MP. MP is very strong in soya agriculture. So we can source soya from MP, and we can help our agriculture economy to grow, where this soya can be converted into either milk or soya protein or all these things. Most of the soya ingredients are coming from either USA or China. The reason is very clear, because the raw material availability, the kind of scale they have in manufacturing is very huge as compared to India, and the kind of investment they have done is remarkable. So we can't catch the speed of them in terms of scalable or in terms of affordable product. But yes, at least we can start with some natural extraction. So as doctor said, we at Methilo trying to produce product with is a natural extraction. Means we are using some sprouted millets, sprouted things that create. So I think I am fortunate to have, I think, 2 brands participating or a speaker are our customer. So they know how we develop the product with using Indian products, and that product has been appreciated from customer also. But coming back to the value, so value is simply defined as benefit divided by cost. If your ratio is more than 1, if your benefits are more, major than the cost, then people find it for value for money. Unfortunately, we are in a trap of scale of economy, where, as Aarohi told, we don't want to sell product to the high income segment. The cost of transportation, cost of production, the cost of online commissions on the addition becomes so high that costs become high, and if they want to win a business, they have to be a viable model. So they have to set a MRP at the level where they, even after setting MRP also, they are not earning that high, like no. So this is a fact, but if order or the scale of economy will increase, this problem can be solved. So protein is one of the major ingredient where people are lacking, I guess, and we are always suggesting that we should at least go with 2 gram, if not 3 gram, or at least 3 gram. So if we increase the protein, the cost of milk go high, right? And the taste is also a challenge. It's become challenge because any protein like pea protein, say soya protein, or any kind of protein like mung bean protein, are little bit leaving bitter after toast. So it is not a clean taste. So there are so many world-class company like I think IFF is one of them, where they are doing very good job in soya protein. Even their pea protein are very nice quality. So but still, if you increase that level up to 3 gram or 5 gram or 6 gram, then masking also become very difficult. So that is challenge number one, which is difficult to bring that. If we get some quality ingredient, in fact, I am insisting all my customers to bring some increase some protein in their drink, so that we can fight globally, not in India, also globally. So that is number one. Number two, that people forget about calcium. Why people, for example, if you talk about the lactose intolerance, they are not accepting veganism, but they want to drink soya milk or almond milk or oat milk, right? So from where they will get calcium, from where they will get B12. So B12 is also one of the deficiency, from where they will get zinc, because in our soil zinc is very less. So we have to consider this fortification, addition of zinc, addition of calcium, addition of phosphorus. So a combination of phosphorus, protein, it gives very good, and vitamin D. So three combination will increase the bioavailability. So your bones will become strong, your muscles will become strong, right? So if you want to replace egg protein or milk protein with plant-based protein, we have to consider PDCAS. PDCAS is one of the terminology where soya protein, if milk is 100, soya is 91. Pea protein is nearby 75 or like that. So if you want to bring that near to milk protein, then we have to add some combinations. For example, if you have to do pea protein with rice protein, the combination becomes complete protein, right? If you bring chickpea protein with mung bean protein, it becomes PDCAS above 91 or 92. So we can at least compare with the milk protein. So this knowledge or this information is somehow the new brands don't have. But when we promote to such kind of things, they come up with ready-made mindset that we want to develop product with XYZ ABC, where it is difficult to suggest them that you should go with this go with that. So that is one number. None, the rest is like no added sugar is one of the thing that plant-based industry should focus, because there are some milk like soya milk, there is a lot little bit sugar we have to add, like 2.5% or 2%, in order to mask that bitterness of the soya. Or some people add sugar in almond milk also to make it slightly sweetened, right? So if we make with naturally enzymatic hydrolysis to increase the from starch to glucose, glucose to slight sweetness, that is possible. So if you maintain your glucose level up to 2 to 2.5%, you need not to add even sugar. That enzymatic hydrolysis can be without adding sugar. So that is it. And people should focus on super ingredients or superfoods. Superfoods means what? So in India we have ragi, which is one of the superfood. I am very not agree to the statement of coconut oil, but coconut is our Indianness, and we should proud of coconut, and we should use some form of coconut in either yogurts or either in some sort of ice creams. where saturated fat is high, agreed. But there are some Vedic studies. We should not listen always the US studies. We should go with some Vedic studies also, where even USA also clearly told that cholesterol from ghee is not good. All of a sudden they came to know that ghee is very good for joints of and all these things. So coconut is also that scientific study is also always debatable, because coconut is grown in India or Thailand or some countries where there is not strong research, or maybe good research, but if that research is there, there should be some our traditions which is matching to the rituals or our food habits. So coconut, we should, I think I should say that we should add in some sort of, say, coconut cream or coconut milk or coconut fat in terms of less content, say 1% or less than 1%. I don't think saturated fat will increase risk in any recipes. Then the most important point is the mouthfeel. We should give mouthfeel with some dietary fibers. So dietary fibers is what? For example, we get beta glucans from oats, which is a natural gift, right? So beta glucans is oats as considered as a great source of beta glucans. If we increase that beta glucans level, we get a good gut health, where the soluble fibers can create probiotic or prebiotic effect in our intestine, as well as there are some ingredients easily available like fructooligosaccharides or oligosaccharides, right? Then there are some various fibers like citrus fibers, apple fibers, right? So this kind of fibers, even chicory fibers, we call it as a inulin, right? So these fibers we should add into our plant-based recipes to maintain the texture or mouthfeel, as well as it will add some body or fullness to the product. And the last point I want to mention is like we should also involve some bacteria which will make our products probiotic. Like there are some bacteria which is called as a Bacillus coagulans, which is also heat stable. Even it is if you heat any product up to 93, 95 degree, 110 degree, you can offer this Bacillus coagulans to the audience. Or there are so many bacteria like Saccharomyces cerevisiae, which come from yeast, right? Saccharomyces boulardii, which is coming from again yeast. Then Bifidobacterium, which is available in terms of culture or starter cultures, Streptococcus thermophilus. So all this bacteria will increase the your health of your gut, and the atomic weight of this all is matching to our digestion system. So if you compare the atomic weight of our digestion system is around say 2000 to 3800 kilodaltons. So that match with the this kind of bacteria mucus, where the stool separation becomes easy, or we can avoid constipation or with high fiber content food. So these are the one of the point that we should consider as an industry. Not only like no typical white water or white beverage, but yes, at least we should come close to milk. And about the almond drink also, if you read all labels globally or Indian company, the almond content is very less, where they highlight as an almond drink, but the almond content in the ingredient list is 2.5 to 4.5%, average 3.5 to 4. So that is also I always debate this to my customer also, but almond is costly, so everybody wants to bring down the cost and they want to replace the mimic the almond taste. Or if you are offering almond milk, it should be almond milk just like we make at home, right? For example, we are soaking almond overnight, we are mixing, grinding, and then filtering that milk. That kind of milk is not available in market, right? So such kind of product should come in India. At least we should educate to world. If every product is not froth stable or barista grade, we should make some nutritious product which is easily available for direct consumption. And the problem that Aarohi mentioned, or everyone's problem, not Aarohi's or my problem, or everyone's problem, is like cost. We are working on scale of production where we want to reduce our cost, where we can offer better cost to our manufacturer marketers, and they can offer good cost to their consumers. But the physical distribution in plant-based industry is somewhere not so active like Sofit is doing, like So Good, or I think there are so many brands is already established in market. They are doing good, but such kind of unless and until it increase the availability or commercial viability, the all our discussions or all our talks is not it is like what we are doing discussion right now. It should be implementing in 1 year time or 2 year time or 3 year time, where India can become a reference for global. So plant-based drink should be like this, should be like that. This is the brand, this is the product which is offering nice nutrition, nice unfortunately our plant-based milk industry is more focused on the coffee shops. Coffee shops means the barista grade, because they are getting that price in the cappuccino or that kind of segment only, where they accept high MRP and they are ready to buy if there is a fraud stability. But we forget about the general nutrition, which is alternative to milk. Like milk has 3 gram protein, milk has 120 milligram calcium, that we should highlight. Then vitamin A and D source. Only the lactose in milk is the problem. Otherwise, milk is a complete food. And as we are making alternative to milk, we should not always compare milk and plant-based drink, because plant-based drink is a mission where they are coming with some long-term objective to animal cruelty or sustainability, where no, we have to compromise on taste, on some formulations, where there are some technologies. Definitely we are also adapting so many technology, but sometimes commercially it becomes challenges to accept that technologies. But yes, we can keep educating people to how to maintain the nutrition of natural nutrition, because the product that we are offering, it has to be in a shelf for 6 months or 9 months or 1 year for export market. So it becomes very difficult to maintain the natural nutrition in a product to be in a shelf stable product, right? So these are the challenges that also we should I would like to request Sanjay ji that we should also keep this discussion. What are the problems or what are the challenges that are getting for implementing today's discussion? For example, if we want to go with 100% Dr. Mehta's discussion, how we can bring this and we can scale up, we can at least improve step 1, steps 2, step 3. Maybe after 1 year, we can get, and as an industry, we should come together to discuss these problems. Some experts from multinational companies or some global expert with your contacts, they can also help us. So that is the agenda of the discussion where we can focus on. So as this industry is niche, we have to bring it to a scale where we can make all this discussion possible. So that's it from my side. Hello.
Yes, because you are audible. Yes, yes. I think Sir's
Yes.
Sir's audio is probably stuck. Just a moment.
So I think nutrition is not about the only milk. We should also focus on the fresh product also. Fresh products like yogurts, where offering nutrition becomes a easy job. But again, it becomes challenges for a manufacturer or marketer to distribute like a dairy. For example, dahi or yogurt, they have very deep distribution where you can find this within a 50-meter distance. But in plant-based, the keeping the stock, getting the return in 7 days, that become challenges. Then other products, the middle level shelf life products like paneer or cheese alternatives can be explored, where so many companies are working and they are doing good. In fact, I think so that segment we can also should highlight apart from milk. And as I explained, we should offer the milk alternative not as a water, or like no, not almond water, almond milk alternative, not oat water, milk alternative. But bringing this into reality is a challenge due to so many reasons where difficult to mention. But yes, everyone is trying their best. Maybe they are keeping their best. What they want to implement their best, but it will take some time. Sethi.
Great, thank you, because very firebrand, lot of information, lot of knowledge, and also I feel the need that I actually have to bring back Indranil, who is going to be our final arbiter, the referee, as to which argument holds and which argument is just as it is argument. But before that, our Super Ustam, that is Gokor Superfoods. Abhishek Singh has all those things which Dr. Tushar Mehta was saying. And Abhishek, you must be feeling very happy that, you know, whatever doctor recommended, you already are following it. You are the perfect. So would you like to repeat what I have said? Or you have been thinking about some of the arguments which have come? Right. So last time when you came on our network, you started hitting us too badly. So we were looking bad in comparison. So today I think you will be a little bit more forgiving because they are your brothers at the end of the day. You know, we are in the same industry. So be kind, but answer. On the mute. Please unmute.
Thank you, Sanjay. Thank you. My apologies if I was rude ever. So on that note,
no,
but a great.
You're not rude. Not, never.
So great, excellent session actually today's. So much to learn, especially what Vikas mentioned. Some of the terminologies were actually मुझे तो पता भी नहीं सब. So lot of learning today. What you mentioned about membrane filtration, what Mehta was mentioning. So great stuff which I haven't, which I didn't know. So great starting point. But before I answer, or not answer, but before I put across my point of view, I just want to put one disclaimer. You know, health is a vast subject, and there are multiple school of thoughts. If you go to Ayurveda, there's a different school of thought. If you go to naturopathy, there is a different school of thought. If you go to you know, the Western culture, there's a different school of thought, and there are principles which clash with each other, right? So I would say there's nothing right or wrong. I would say it's not right to demarcate anything as black and white, right? There's a lot of school of thoughts to get accommodated in this vast subject of health. So I agree on certain aspects which Dr. Tushar said, or Vikas said, or other you know, speakers said, but I also disagree on a lot of other things. So I'll start with you know, some of the points. One, the comparison of plant-based milk, like comparison of plant-based milk to their animal-based products is not right? I'll give you an example. Now, the chemical composition of a cow milk is obviously different from that of almond milk and that of oat milk, even oat milk and almond milk have different chemical composition. Now, if somebody wants to have food from a health perspective, then they should consume that particular kind of product for the nutritional value that it provides or the ingredients that it provides, the nutritional value that ingredients provide. Not that I consume today's milk. Today I drink cow milk, but I want to replace it with a almond milk, but I want the nutritional value to be intact. No, they both are different, right? That's like saying if pulses have more protein and I want to consume oat, why doesn't oat has protein? So they all have naturally different compositions. Now, this is an idealistic situation. In real world, consumers do want milk, they want to consume milk, but with the same value of protein and the same it should have same protein value or other vitamins. Why is that necessary? Or does consumer even do that, or are we marketers trying to create that market for ourselves? Right? That's a question for debate. And in my point of view, it's not correct to compare both of them. So that's one.
So
now,
Abhishek,
if you want to,
Abhishek, that question comes because we want to call it alternative to milk. We want to use the word milk. So I can agree that by increasing too much protein, there may be some product consistency related issues, but we cannot be deficient on everything. There should be something major which the customer is looking for. We should have more. Everything cannot be less. If everything is less, then it's white water. But if there are certain things, so the question here which is being talked about is protein, right? So maybe some proteins, some vitamins are more here and less there. So it's not the micronutrients which we are being talking about. It's the macronutrients which we are talking. So that is something which, if it's not there, we will be beaten in the marketplace, because people will only then use for tea and coffee and not for the serious things like infant milk, or for the lactating mothers, or for other important activities like building bones, growing up teenagers and youngsters, children. So those activities then totally out of the table. That means a large market goes away from you if there is no apple to apple comparison.
So Sanjay, that's it. As I mentioned, it's a school of thought, right? If I want to consume protein in a as on date, because there's nothing else in the market today, if I want to have consume protein or plant-based protein, I would rather go and have tofu, right? Which is great source of protein, which can be naturally produced without adding any chemicals, right? So and the content of protein is less in almond milk, but it is there. Now, if you want to consume, a particular product, all I would say is consume it for its. By the way, if the protein value of almond milk or any kind of milk can be increased with a certain process that doesn't add any chemicals into it, I would be happy, to come across. And of course, we should make that effort in that direction. But as on date, I'm not sure if that can be done without adding any chemicals. So that's my point of view. Another very important point, which I agree with Vikas and disagree with Tushar, is about coconut, right? Coconut is a great source of good fat, right? If you go to South, everybody uses coconut. Nobody has ever got harmed because of coconut. It's an excellent source of good fat. So I don't know the context in which it was Tushar was mentioning this, but coconut oil. There are some studies which have mentioned that coconut oil is one of the best best oils to consume, especially in a country like India, right? Followed by, of course, in Europe, it's olive oil. But as far as you don't heat olive oil, so coconut is a great source. Another point which Tushar mentioned was, which is very dear to me, is packaging. When we talk about sustainable packaging, plastic is a big concern. And a couple of days back, I was just writing in, I wrote an article, and this is the exact point, I had mentioned. We are at a stage, globally, where we are trying to address problems in isolation. If you want to address plant-based versus animal-based, that's one challenge. There is another challenge of polluting the environment. All this is linked to global warming and everything. So yes, it's right approach that we are trying to solve one problem at a time, but ultimately we cannot ignore saying that, okay, this is one part of the problem and packaging cannot be addressed, right? Of course, I'm not saying take an extreme point of view today and shift everything or stop completely, but work towards it, right? Work towards what are the alternate forms, which I'm sure everyone is trying to do, but that's an important aspect which today we are not addressing as a society. There are so many soft drink brands, right? The amount of plastic that is consumed by them is humongous, and it's. I mean, I don't need to emphasize the impact, the adverse impact of packaging on our environment. Having said all of this, thumb rule in food industry is the organoleptic parameters should not be compromised at all. Whether you, our consumers who consume almond milk, they come back to us because it is really good quality, and they come back to us because it's absolutely fresh. So organoleptic parameters cannot be compromised no matter what. But then there are certain challenges. You can't use it for a barista edition of coffee. So that market is also available. So I guess it's more about balance, and it's a school of thought which I'm very respectful to all school of thoughts, and I'm well aware of the fact that everyone is doing their best in their capacities to solve their part of the problem. So I think, as you rightly mentioned, we all need to come together and work towards solving the larger problem. So that's my point of view.
And 2 words about your own products.
So we make fresh plant-based milks, almond milk, oat milk, all our products, and also there's another vertical where we make longer shelf life products like peanut butter, and we make all the products without any added sugar, no dairy, no preservative or any kind of chemical, right?
And you deliver it fresh every day.
We prepare it fresh every day. We are a hyper-local business. We prepare it fresh every morning, and we get it delivered every morning before 9:30 at your doorstep.
Wonderful, wonderful. This is what Dr. Tushar was saying that we should have, and you have already done that. So you're a role model to the plant-based industry. Abhishek, congratulations for having such a great business model.
Thank you, Sanjay.
And
just one more.
And yes, please continue.
Just one last thing. We are a challenger brand, and we knew that what we are trying to create is not a challenger brand. Actually, we are trying to create a challenger category, right? We are trying to solve logistics. We are trying to solve the problem. So it's not an easy job, but we have taken it upon ourselves to deliver, the best to the consumer.
And are you accepting investments?
Absolutely. We are at a stage where our backend work has been completed. The concept, testing and everything has been done, backed by data, backed by experience, and now we are open to start expansion.
So in the mean, I am lowering your hand so that I can call you, and at the same time, I can ask the question from others also, like people like Sonal, Aarohi, Samir Prasad, and there are so many other startups that who is raising funds. So you can just raise your hand, the virtual hand, and in the meantime, back to you, Indranil. There was a lot of safai pesho from our industry today, right? So
Yes.
everything was not getting digested, but was said, right? And
Right.
so much so that even Abhishek started defending the industry more this time and forgot to tell the amazing things that he himself does. He went from this pendulum to that pendulum.
No, I think one thing is it's all these startup can do amazing things. Because if you ask a multinational companies, which we were for many years, they will say, I need a product 2 year shelf life. No less than that, I cannot sell it. This used to be the marketing people's thought process. But
Yeah,
here is a
put
company,
1 kilo of preservative.
whatever that is. So here is a company who delivers it in the morning, preparing it in the morning. This is amazing things can only be done by a startup. And I saw some years back, 4 years back, some parathas being sold in the big bazaar and all with 15 days or 5 days, 5 days shelf life. So I thought nobody else can do it other than some startup. So my only point here is to some of the people who are talking about the protein content in, in almond milk or oat meals. I have seen many of the companies in Southeast Asia. They make a soya base. The the milk has soya in it because you add isolate. I'm not promoting isolate here, but 2% you get 2% protein because it's 90% protein. And then they add the almond and the oat because then you get 3% in your final product, comparing it with the milk. So I don't know whether you can call it a soy milk or you call it a almond milk, but I think I have seen some products in Southeast Asia being sold like that because they want to, as Sanjay said, we cannot sell a white water, but something like 3% protein and all, comparing it with. So that's very easy to done. You still call it almond or oat, but you put in the base some soy protein, which is one of the easiest thing to incorporate perhaps easily. So that's all I wanted to say, because some people said about calcium. Again, there are some isolate with added calcium. If you want to look at it, please do. And this calcium doesn't settle in the bottom of the bottle or something. It's suspended. It delivers what you want to deliver. Because if the calcium, which is the insoluble salt, remain in the bottom, whether it's an infant formula or anywhere, it really doesn't give you that nutritional benefit. So it need to be suspended. I mean, you can contact us and we can always look at those problems. So that's it. Nothing more than that.
So a lot of points where I wanted you to talk about engineering, and one of the things which somebody said was that we should have consistent quality of proteins, which is possible when you have a big, large IP grade, soy food farmer, and then you have absolutely consistent quality of soy isolates and concentrates, so that when our customers, when they eat that product, they get exactly the same ETTs and the taste, and they get exactly the same taste every time. Something which in Indian setting we are struggling to find, because in India you have smallholders and they all bring different kinds of soybean. While it may work in case of edible oil, it may work in case of tofu, but when it comes to the high grade IP grade soy isolates and soy concentrates, we need that consistency. And that's why you have been bringing it from the US. So can you please throw some light on that part?
So I think couple of things is that one of them is the consistent quality and batch to batch, no variation, no color variation that we have because of the scale of manufacturing that we do. And then again, we do products for different applications. So we have, I mean, I don't want to promote my company, but we have several grades, each for, I mean, a specific application. So if you want to use it in soya milk, we have something. If you don't want high viscosity product, that soya milk become thicker when you add proteins or something like that, we have a different grade. We have powdered, I mean, where you add it in powder that it disperses very well. We have something which is calcium added so that the calcium is consistent in the product and it is suspended. Those are some patented technology that we use. So and the whole thing is that there is no batch to batch variation. The bags after bags, they are same because of the scale of the operation. and of course the back end from where we source, and we know that very well, and it can be traced back if there is any issue and things like that. So the traceability and the consistent quality and where you are sourcing from, those are very important thing to get the consistent quality products actually. So and that is the advantage that we have. We have been doing it for many years, and in a way we are successful only because of that, although we are a little bit premium than others suppliers, but I mean for consistent quality and all, customers like it, and our customers and then the consumers. So that is what we deliver, and hopefully, I mean, and everybody, as Abhishek said just now, that ultimately it is the taste of the product which matters. I mean, you can add nutrition, whatever you want to do, but if the consumer doesn't like it and you give full of nutrition, consumer may reject it because he or she doesn't like the taste. So that's very important, that what we deliver is consistent. It should not be thick one day, it should not be thin one day. And Abhishek will see that, because I used to work in a dairy industry many years back, and we used to sell, packaged dairy milk for a small city where the plant was, because we used to give city supply. And we used to pack the best quality for the city supply, although it is consumed in 24 hours, maybe less than that, because the acidity, the pH, and all were so important that when it goes to the consumers, he cut the pack, he use it, it doesn't curdle or it doesn't behave differently. So the best milk used to be packed for city supply, which was a social activity which we're doing, not too much, but maybe 10,000 liter, 20,000 liter. But that's very important, because the consumer just opened the pack, and for Abhishek, it will be like that consumer will see the product and report if there is something different he is seeing, and day to day if there is a difference. So that's very important, and therefore his raw material has to be absolutely perfect and absolutely consistent. Just a thought, I mean.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
So Gayatri also wants to make a point. Gayatri from Marico, Gayatri Zavda. Gayatri, would you like to come in?
Yeah, hello everyone. I actually wanted to know.
Can't see you. I can't see you. Gayatri, can you switch on your
Sure.
video, please?
Sure. Yeah. Hello everybody.
Yeah. Yes.
So yeah, I was not very keen interested using soya because of the hypothyroid, and I think many of the there are lot many people who are not soya users just because of this. So recently I was just reading more on the interaction of soya on thyroid hormones and related topics, and I was not finding much, so somewhere saying it's beneficial, some say there is no effect, some say it is detrimental, so I wasn't very sure. So I just wanted to know, on processing, what is the effect on isoflavones? Does it vary with the type of processing? So in soya milk or tofu or concentrate, isolates, chunks, granules. So there is a lot many forms which are available, and I'm not getting the information that I want.
Yes, I can answer that.
This is again for you, because they are not getting you off the line. Huh?
No, I will answer that.
Postpone your lunch by 5 minutes, 10 minutes.
No problem. At 1 o'clock I should leave, but then so Gayatri, one or two things. One is on the thyroid. If you know some people who are avoiding soy because of thyroidism or something like that, they should consult the doctor. They will increase half tablet for that. So they may be taking 1 tablet a day. Doctor will use if he or she goes and tell the doctor, can I consume soy? The doctor may or mostly say that you take soy, I will increase your dose by half a tablet. That's it. That's done. So there won't be any problem. The second is, you said about isoflavone. So isoflavone is present most in soybean. As you process further, So you make defatted soya flour, the isoflavone level is higher. You make concentrate, the isoflavone level goes down. You make isolate because so much washing and you do, the isoflavone level further go down. So and isoflavone level varies on the weather. So when the soybean is grown, if the soybean has, if there is less rainfall or drought kind of a situation, the isoflavone levels are higher. So we used to make, I'll tell you some history. We used to make a product with, some claim on isoflavone, 2 milligram per gram of protein. We used to say at many years back. But then we saw that consistently we are getting failed batches because we are able to produce, but that isoflavone level is not coming to 2 milligram. That's what our claim. And we had a 4 milligram also. And then we stopped making that product because the weather and the raw material was so important, because it should have higher isoflavone level to start with to give you a consistent guaranteed level of isoflavone in the product. So more you process, the isoflavone level goes down.
So as far as I understand, least would be in isolate, soya isolate.
Should be. You can get some data perhaps, and I don't know whether I can give you some data. Let me see. It should be less least in isolate compared to whole soybean, and further like defatted soya flour, concentrates and isolate. Yeah.
And also in soy milk.
And if you do alcohol processing, then the isoflavone level is 0, right? Because alcohol wash off the isoflavone. And soya milk, it depends on what is your raw material. If many people do not use isolate, very less. Mostly use soybean, so it should be high. It should be higher because soybean is mostly unprocessed. But when you soak it in water, something will go off until unless you use that water. So it should be,
but
higher than
I
isolate.
assume alcohol processing is not done much, right?
No, it's not done much.
That's what.
Yes, agreed.
Right. Great.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
So on the soy milk, what he has mentioned, Gayatri, that on soya milk, if you are soaking soybeans, then it should go down, but do not use that water. Okay. Yes, Sonal, you were saying something, and then I'm opening the floor to the audience. Any question, any comment, you're welcome. So Sonal.
Thank you, Sanjay. Isoflavones is actually a star aspect of soy. I am not
absolutely. For
I'm
some
not
people,
too sure, Gayatri, where is the vulnerability regarding usage of isoflavones coming into the picture? Because that's a very, very strong point regarding usage of soy. If it is about the estrogen or the hormonal, lookalike feature of isoflavone, then as it is, whatever hormones are associated inside, are found inside soy, they all get hormone-like substances. They all do get excreted out of our system. Our body does not absorb those. So it should be absolutely fine for usage.
But Sonal, like it is my own personal experience. Like I am a hypothyroid since like around 20 years. So for a very long time, I was not using because of the recommendations from doctors and other nutritionists. But then I read about it, the benefits of soy, and then started using it for around 6 months or 8 months. Means I used soy milk regularly, almost 2 glasses a day, because that in that period I was not consuming milk. So I realized that there was like lot of effect on my T3, T4, TSH. Means most of the times previously it was balanced at the same levels, but when I used soy, then the levels altered. So this was my observation. That is why I wanted to understand. I know isoflavone has many benefits. It is a star ingredient. It's a polyphenol and has range of like other benefits. But just because of this observation, I had this doubt.
Okay, Pranesh, now please come in. Pranesh has been waiting for more than now 2.5 hours. So this webinar again has gone beyond the time. Sorry for that. Pranesh, would you like to come in?
Yeah, hi.
But thanks, you know the rule, you have to switch on the video, please.
Okay, 1 second. Just give me a second. I don't know whether my background is good enough, but still okay. I am coming on video. Sanjay's request mentioned. Anyway, I'll just close the door for a minute. And yeah, thanks Sanjay for giving this opportunity to hear to all the wonderful speakers. In fact, very interesting because while I have two businesses, one was where I'm a co-founder is where we are into Relses, where we manufacture plant proteins, and our plant proteins are ready now. People who want can actually contact me or through Sanjay. We have pea, chickpea, and mung bean protein and starch as well. So in case good quality starch you require. At the same time, I have a retail organic product business in Bangalore. So I was looking at and I have a very good distribution network all across Bangalore. So complete length and breadth of Bangalore, we cover on a daily basis in the morning. So I'm also looking at launching plant-based milk and retail on a B2C level. So that's the other venture. So listening to all the speakers, it was very good actually to understand their perspectives on plant-based milk. In fact, I'm trying to develop something where incorporating these similar thoughts, like it is going to be a glass bottle based delivery and daily fresh delivery, and with of course incorporating protein, calcium, and the vitamins and vitamin D3, the trace elements and the macronutrients as well. So it's still under development. I think maybe in a month's time we should be there, ready to launch. But
Thank you.
It was a very good learning, listening to all the people about plant-based milk. In Bangalore, there is a good response actually for the plant-based milk. The market is really good. Unfortunately, it's the same issues, the Tetra Pak and the stored milk, and the demand is, although the milk demand is good, it's spread across Bangalore. So people find it difficult to cater. But for me, the advantage is I have the distribution network already. So it helps from that point of view.
Thank you, Pranesh, for your comment. And Beena Gupta from Innovation Hong Kong, our partner from Hong Kong, Innovation Asia. Beena, are you there?
Yes, I am, Sanjay.
Yes. Can you please?
I can't at the moment. I'm trying to get the background working. Please forgive me. And I'm working on it, but I'm definitely listening ardently.
Okay. Great. So anyone from the audience would like to make a comment? You are welcome. Sujani Pudipati. Samir Prasad.
Good morning, sir.
Yeah,
good afternoon.
Yes, Sujani.
I am the R&D of veterinary pharmaceutical named Advanced Aqua Biotechnologies India Private Limited, Vijayawada, Andhra Pradesh. So we have developed many plant-based products for animal health. We are looking at a better alternative for the usage of the many chemicals that are like how they are harmful to us. They are even harmful to the animal, to the voiceless. So I'm into developing the products which use most of the plant products or plant material. So like there's a lot of discussion on soya milk and all. So we do use soya protein hydrolysates and many other double ingredients, the age-old tradition of India. So I'm using turmeric, garlic, and all that into this. So I felt this is interesting even for me, but since I'm an odd man out from the group, so I stayed quiet. So, and this was really enlightening in many ways. So that's it from me. And thank you, everybody, all the speakers who have given a lot of insight into this particular topic. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Sujani. And please write your contact details in the chat box. And now requesting Akila from Nourish You. And then Samir Prasad from Nomo Ice Cream. Akila, you are on the mute. Can you unmute yourself? Okay, I can't hear Akila. While Akila fixes the mic, Samir, please. Can't hear Samir as well. Okay, so amongst the audience, who has got the next question? Nobody? So if there are no more questions, and
Sir,
yes, please.
Sir, I have a query. It's not a question, it's a query. Basically, when we are talking about plant proteins.
Gautam, can you please switch on your video, please?
Yeah, 1 second.
And the experience is much different when the video is on for the listeners.
Am I visible?
Yes, you are.
Yeah. So, sir, my query is this. It's not a question, it's a query. That when we say plant proteins are better, good, everything for different diseases, you use soy. Soy is not bad for thyroid or whatever the claims that are being made by individual manufacturers or as a theory. I personally feel there is not, but they could be. So I'm asking, are there proper case studies of patients of who have got certain disorders or any medical health problems? They have taken plant proteins or soy milk or almond milk of in general, which is being provided in, and they have got better.
Can I address this,
yes, please.
Sanjay? Okay.
Yes,
Hi, everybody. So I mentioned about two parts of my activities. I have another business which is called as AS Nutrition. We are into sports nutrition. But as part of the business, I also introduced something which is specifically plant-based protein with in a trial basis. The commercial launch is to be done. We did some field trials with plant-based protein with some herbal ingredients, which is specifically targeted for the children with autism. Okay, and that got a very good response. In fact, the clinicians, the autism therapy people, they gave a very positive feedback after about 2 months of field trials. Of course, I understand there's some question from Gautam again, but this is may not be I'm addressing his question properly. But if not, please excuse me.
And Gautam, you work for which organization?
I work for myself. So I have recovered immune disorder by changing my food, basically.
From
ankylosing spondylitis, that's an autoimmune disorder, arthritis which attacks all the joints in your body. I also had Guillain-Barré syndrome, which is ascending paralysis type of attack, where the immune system is attacking your nerve cell walls.
And what food did you use?
Unfortunately, I was completely on a non-veg diet. Zero starch diet. I cut out starch. I cut out everything else. I was only on meat and vegetables, 2 food items. Eggs, chicken, and only vegetables, and other anti-inflammatory stuffs like turmeric, ginger, garlic, dhania, kadi patta, that other what we get, and again some seeds.
And what is your interest for this webinar?
My interest.
Yes.
I'm an enthusiast about plant proteins. I'm going to open up a chain of cloud kitchens using plant proteins, basically, plant proteins and millets. And as I've recovered myself from a very dangerous disease, I'm interested to know as to when claims are being made, is there any patient testimonials which are behind this? Because that is only at the end of the day, that is the real truth, and that is only what will work. Otherwise, if you are giving plant proteins to healthy individuals,
National Institute of Nutrition is the right place for you to look for such data, because they do a fantastic research based in Hyderabad. Which city are you based in? Gautam?
Mumbai.
Okay, so you reach out to NIM, and it's a government institution. And then some of the answers can be provided by uh, some of these people over here, as Pranesh was answering to you. So may I know who has got the next question?
Thank you.
Ashok. Ashok Garas.
Ashok Golas. I'm based in Delhi, and I'm not a manufacturer. I'm actually a practitioner of plant-based whole food. And I have a suggestion to make to you. Is that your associate name doesn't include the whole food? It only says foods.
Yes.
You make it whole foods, it'll be better. So
Yes.
I my friends,
Yes.
we practice plant-based whole food, and we have cured ourselves all the diseases that we are having.
Yes. So this is a wrong channel. We are on the channel for replacing animal sources of foods. So
Right.
this is not about normal dal chawal. It is about making those amazing lip smacking foods which are tasting just like meat.
Right.
So that may not be your requirement, but this is the requirement of many people who want to quit meat and quit dairy, and they want to come here. And obviously, there are some other foods which normally we eat at home, which are all whole foods, whether it is dal or it is gehu or it is pulses or millets or even nuts, right? So they're all whole foods. So we are not talking about the richness of cashew nuts or richness of dal in general, which is a point well taken, accepted, and we are somebody else. So this channel is only and only for those people who want to replace animal sources of foods, and those cannot be replaced by hara bhara kebab, because hara bhara kebab failed big time in getting those people. It was only and only for a vegetarian people. It did not convert a single non-vegetarian into vegetarian. So we are something else. Hi, Bina. So you joined. Yes. Welcome. So nice to see you. So Bina, you would like to make a comment?
Sanjay, thank you very much for the kind introduction. I think I would rather listen because I have so much to learn from your guest speakers and I really want to find out more. So I'll just say hello to everyone and apologies for being a little late.
No, you are not late because you have finished your lunch and we have to start our lunch. So none of us have eaten and we are now wanting to go and get off this call. So if there is no more comment, no more question, we can close it. Any last question or comment? If no, then I can request my team to very quickly summarize, starting with Indra and Aditi. Go ahead, Aditi.
Yes, sure, sir. So I think it was a very insightful session. I think the whole series.
That you tell after every session, insightful.
Yes.
Session by itself means insightful.
Yes, sir, but it is fascinating how every time there is something new that we learn. Right? So that means there is so much depth in all these topics, so much left to explore. So like I think what Vikas was saying, that now that we've discussed what should be done, what should be implemented, our next session can also be around what are the challenges, where we can hear from the manufacturers on why are they not able to implement certain things, and what have they been able to crack. So in terms of what was discussed today, I think it was very interesting, starting from Dr. Tushar laying out all the points which helped the other all the rest of the speakers address those issues one by one. And it was a very honest session, I would say, because everyone was very truthfully saying that, this is what we have cracked, this is what we haven't been able to do, and this is what we require help with. So even with Mr. Indraneel, the way he was offering support from IFF's end, it was great, and that is, I think, essentially what the industry needs. So in terms of the summary points, I can talk about them in a bit too, but then this was just the whole feel, I think, about the session. I think, sir, you can also add some points, and Indra is also here, so
Talking
over
about
to you.
the challenges, Sethi, one of the challenge which people are saying that we don't get a chance to prepare and change our schedule because we reach out to them on a short notice for these webinars. It's good that we tell you over the weekend that we'll have a webinar and you have everybody collected on a Monday and at a very short time you are able to bring everybody together. So this is fantastic. But at the same time, some people want to join these webinars as a speaker, and they need a longer, time to plan for it. So requesting you to now do this webinar one more time. And today there were less than 100 people. Next time maybe it will be even more. And as you said, it was an honest session, but there were some elements where I saw some of the members defending themselves because I felt that they ran for cover when when Dr. Tushar Mehta went for the spree and he really took out the bazooka and sprayed the bullets on all of us. So at that time, some people admitted, like Vikas had said, yes, I'm on your side and I said this, but when he started speaking and some of the other people speaking, there were a lot of responding to those things, which were, I would say, clouding the message. Thanks to Indranil, we could sort out some of the things, but not everything. So I believe that there's a little bit of more clarity we need. And for that, we need this session one more time because we could not get Dr. Tushar back again because obviously it was 3 o'clock in the morning, midnight for him. So he must have gone back. So we could not get him back to again respond to those things. So Indra, you want to say something?
Yes, sir.
Indra, you are not at home. The background looks different. Where are you?
I'm at rest. I'm at the breakfast.
I mean, which
I
place are
just
you?
had breakfast. Sorry.
Because this red color tells me, it reminds me of Africa. Are you in Africa?
Yeah.
Oh, you are in Africa. Where are you in Africa?
So there's a conference, the Afro World Agri Food at Tanzania, which is starting from tomorrow, and so will also be joining us. Yeah, so I'm here. And about the session, it was like Aditi mentioned, it was fantastic because we had a lot of new things to learn. And one of the things that Sir mentioned also, it's very true that we need to really acknowledge these things as an industry, that where we are going wrong so that we can rectify it. Because the first step is definitely the awareness. So instead of defending, we should be aware of the things that we are, maybe falling short of, but also at the same time try to address these obstacles in a very strategic way so that we are able to cater to a wider market. And now that, like I mentioned initially, that we have a lot of consumers who are more and more aware of what they consume these days. So it is very, very important that we make these products more nutritious and more healthy so that consumers prefer them as the first choice. Um, and one of the things that stood out was how simple Dr. Tushar Mehta had explained as to the nutrient content that we should be having, and how there should be a balance in that. So he really made it sound very simple. It could have been mentioned in a very sophisticated manner, but he really mentioned it to in a very simple manner so that everyone, it was a very important point and well represented, and I think we can all learn from it. And like Aarohi and Vikas also mentioned, there are a lot of problems, challenges actually that companies face at a small scale as a startup, and also that we need to, it's not a solution that we can approach directly, right? So it has to come from all points of view, like the functional property, the taste, and other things. So uh, that is also very important to take into consideration when you're formulating. And I think overall the speakers were fantastic. And like Sir mentioned, we could have had a lot more audience, because this needs to be heard by a lot more people. And I'm sure that people will definitely take away a lot and implement a lot of these things.
Yeah, but the good thing is that a lot of right people were there in the room, and I think they have changed today. Today's webinar has, I think, nudged them towards a positive change, and their products 1 year from now, I'm predicting, will be a lot more healthier. And that's the change that PBFIA brings into the ecosystem. Mehta and Narari.
Hello. I think the session was quite interesting. I think it was, people came with their own personal viewpoints as well, what worked for them and what didn't work for them as well. So that is what we are looking forward. That is called as insight, basically coming from industry and coming from consumers who are actually consuming this product. There was one point where I was not able to control myself and wanted to add when Gayatri was talking about isoflavones, but she's not in the call. Maybe we can connect later and give a more detailed understanding on that. But thank you so much for becoming part
But
of
you can tell me that what is that you wanted to say. Just say it right. Because this is recorded, so we'll send it to her.
Yeah, I just wanted to add that since she's suffering from hyperthyroidism, so it's always an intake level. I think somewhere I've also realized that 50 milligrams of isoflavones is something which is recommended by a lot of guidelines as well, which is basically 2 cups of your soya milk or like 150 grams of your tofu. That is something which is advisable and can be eaten. But she mentioned that her T3 level was increasing. So I just was curious to understand more that if she is eating it regularly or she's combining it all together, because limit is something which has to become in cases when you have incidents like hyperthyroidism or any other diseases associated with it. Otherwise, soya protein is an excellent source. So we should not be worried about it. Even soybean allergy is faced by very few people, very few people. So I think we should not have a second thought onto that.
Yes, very well point made there, Mehta.
Yeah.
One of the things which worries me and gives me sleepless nights is the food safety. I believe that a big bad news is about to hit us anytime soon. And how do we prevent that? We should do a webinar, maybe on 18th. If you can take a lead on that, that would be fantastic. And we should bring in FSSAI there, because they are the final arbiter of telling us what is safe and what is not safe, and they do an amazing job. But at the same time, they don't listen to us so much as much they listen to the dairy industry. So they are the ones who have actually said you cannot use the dairy terms. So we have a little bit of love-hate relationship with them, and we want to have that eyeball to eyeball conversation with them on the coming 18th. If you can organize it, that would be fantastic. And Narhari, are you there? It is time that we should also now start giving responsibility to some of our members. Narari, I think, has dropped out. So I can speak on his behalf that we want to provide responsibility to all the members. All the members means all the members. Somebody can work on the dairy work stream, somebody can work on the supply chain work stream, or on the food safety side, or on maybe plant-based meat, track, or our plant protein cluster track, which Indra is leading along with Aditi, and also Maybe some of us can focus on policy advocacy, which Mehta leads, or some of us can talk about innovation or work on that, seeing how to make those products, absolutely lip smacking and tasty, and also making it less over processed, as what we are talking today. And there are more work streams we can think about related to distribution, related to branding, and helping our members. And maybe some of us can just deliberate on what is the kind of events we should have, what is the kind of event that we will have during AHAR, and especially when we have our summit, which is on 21st of May 2024. How do we get personalities like Veena Gupta in Delhi physically? So every time, Veena, you are there watching us from somewhere in the cloud, but this time we want you on the ground. Delhi is your city. It's your home. It's आपका घर है. You must plan a visit around 21st of May when the summit is there, and bring along with you an entourage of Chinese and Hong Kong companies to India, and let them talk about people to people connections. A lot of relationships have gone bad with China because of Dalwan, and hopefully those relations will be back on track by the time. And there is a lot of positive, I would say, confidence building measures which will take place. As citizens, it is our duty to bring the two sides together. So,
if I can also add,
yes,
Sanjay,
please.
that it would be lovely to sort of include, I think, Australia, which is becoming quite strong in the plant-based area.
Yes, they started their association recently.
Yeah. So when I'm traveling there at the end of the year, I will try and see how we can, get this together, because I think the more united we are, and there's not this negative cell, which I see, it shouldn't be that this is instead of something. It's, wow, plant-based is good for you. And let's go on the positive instead of bringing in the negatives about how bad something else is. If we can talk about these plant proteins in such a positive manner. And I think that, listening very strongly, that the taste is really the most important thing that is going to get the wider acceptance.
Absolutely. Thank you, Veena. We really admire you for what you have done for the industry, for innovation sector, and for the innovation Hong Kong. So if there's no more question, may I close today's webinar? And once again, apologies. We used to have webinars for 1 hour, then we increased it 1.5 hours, and today we had 2 hours. And now we realize even 2 hours was not enough, because we have crossed almost 2 hours and 45 minutes. Thank you so much for your time, and wish you all the very best. We can close this webinar, and we can come to our own channel. Thank you.